Hello and welcome, I'm Nate442 and this is just a small video to show you OctoPrint. Okay, so after you've had everything installed and everything, you'll have this OctoPrint front end here. Up here you'll have to log in to be able to do anything to it. I think when you first log into it you do get like a create a user profile and all that kind of stuff thing. It's pretty good. It's pretty straightforward. But after you've done all that, you get to this part here, and it will have your connection. You'll have the serial port and stuff. It will most likely be set to auto. But for our printer, if you have the same one as me, you want to set it to 115200 on the baud rate and to TTY USB 0 on the serial port. That will allow our printer to connect and quicker as well. If you have the baud, you can have the baud rate as auto, but it will take a lot longer to do. And you can have the serial port set as auto, but I think it won't actually work if you set it up that way, from what I remember. But yeah, if you have auto connect on server startup ticked, then if you turn the printer on and then the OctoPi, once the OctoPi boots up, it will automatically connect to the printer. I've disconnected it just for showing sakes, but you just press connect here, and now it connects itself to the printer. This will go up eventually. We have here the state. Oh, there we go. It's gone up. We have here the state. The state is operational, and it will tell you pretty much what it's doing. So it will say like printing or operational, or I would have thought it said like idle or something now, but whatever. It will tell you the file, and then obviously the time-lapse settings you have set. So the file is what you'd have down here in the files menu of what you're printing. Approximate time, print time left. I found that this isn't really that accurate, but you do get also a progress bar here, which will be blue when it's printing, and that kind of shows you what's printing, how long it's taken, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really tell you an exact time, but well, from what I remember, it tells you like about 2.5 hours left or something like that, which is okay for in the most part anyway. Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. So you have print, pause and cancel here. You only really use cancel if your print starts to mess up or whatever. But yeah, that's the state menu pretty much. And then you have files down here. Files, you can organize files quite well actually. So I've printed off the fidget cube now. You can delete this whole folder. Yeah, it deletes all the stuff inside it as well. I'm about to do a GoPro handle, or have already done a GoPro handle, which I'll record later. If you click on that, you have in here the STL files and the G-codes. You can delete G-code files and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter too much. If you don't want to do it again, or if you don't want to reprint that. And the STL files, you can always reslice them with this button here. So you got on the extended menu here, you have additional data that tells you a little bit of information about it, pretty much just estimated print time and then the last time you printed it, which is kind of cool, kind of useful, just in case like you was wondering, have I ever printed this before? Now you know. That's cool. You have here download, so you can actually download the G-code, and then if you needed to, you can send it to other people or use it in a different slicer or a different printer or something if you had to do that. You have here remove, which just deletes the file. You have here load. I think that loads it to the printer, so you can press print here when you're ready. But don't quote me on that. I've never actually used load before, so I don't know. Load and print. Ah, okay, yeah. Load and print here just loads that file and then starts it printing straight away with the settings that are set. So that's this side done. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much that side done. Sometimes it tells you down here the amount of file space you have. You have like refresh file list, and there's file list settings and SD card operations. There's the fairly standard kind of limited options that you get for like sort by different types and only show files stored on the SD card and that kind of stuff. You know, just the standard kind of stuff really. So yeah, under here you have the temperature. So the temperature will stay at room temperature if you haven't set it to something else. You have here the hot end and the bed. The hot end allows you to set it to two predefined values. So my PLA predefined is set to 195 and ABS to 210. I've never printed with ABS, so that probably looks a bit low to most people. Bed is set to ABS 100 and PLA 60. Again, I've not printed with ABS, so I don't know. There's an offset set in here just in case like the temperatures are offset, but I tried using that before and it didn't really work that well, so I'm not really sure if it does work that well. But yeah, it's there just in case you may need to use it in the future. I think it could be useful for some. So we've got the control tab here as well. The control tab allows you to view your camera. There's a setting in the actual settings menu that allows you to flip your camera and actually put it upside down as well, so that's really useful to me because my camera is actually upside down. So now if I have things, if I press some of these buttons or whatever, it'll move things in the right way. So you can press the left button there. Also, if you hover over here, there's keyboard controls active. That will show you x-axis left and right. So if I pressed left on here, it would actually do it on the keyboard. I could press home, and then home would actually home the X and Y. Click, click, there we go. You can change the step size with these ones, which are still pretty cool as well. And you've got the feed rates, the standard kind of stuff down here. You've got the movements, the homings of the Z and the X and Y. Just remember that Z is backwards on here. I don't know why, I don't know how to change that, but it's not really that big of a deal. Just don't have it set to just try not to go below the board, because sometimes it does actually allow you to try that. And that could potentially break your coupler, which is something I had to replace the other day. It wasn't because of this, as far as I remember, but you know, it could be because of that. It could cause that still, sorry. So you never know, and you don't want to risk it really, because it's just an unnecessary part to replace if you don't have to. We've got tool here. This allows you to select the hot end that you want to use. I've only got one obviously, so you just select hot end. Here you can choose the amount of stuff you want to extrude or retract, so 10mm extrude or 10mm retract. You can change the flow rate and stuff, and then over here you got general and you got motors. I don't know if that really works, but maybe on some printers that will work and do something. You have fan off and fan on and fan off. That will be the actual nozzle cooler fan. So if it's on, mine's not plugged in at the moment, but if it was connected, you can turn it on and off with this little bit here, which is quite cool. GCode Viewer. This actually allows you to see, kind of like in other programs, what is being printed at the moment in kind of like a vector form. It only does it one layer, and you can't see it in like 3D or anything like that, so it's just the one layer top down on the board kind of thing. It's still cool, but I've not really had to use it before. I can see how it could probably potentially be useful if you have issues with your print, maybe, or if you're trying to decide if it's the print or if it's the slicer that's at fault with the issue. But yeah, I've never really had to use that just yet. We have terminal here, and as standard, terminal just like shows you what is being sent and to and through the printer. You have here the receiving end of temperatures, so it's 35 degrees. Apparently it's 35 degrees in my room. That's pretty warm. I don't think it is 35 degrees, you know. I think it's about 25. Maybe not even, I don't know how hot it is. 35 sounds a bit hot. But yeah, you can suppress the temperature messages. Maybe it's just hotter over there anyway, I don't know. You can suppress different things like that, and then there's also the advanced section down here, which was already open, because this is my second take. But yeah, there we go. And then we have time-lapse here. Time-lapse menu, time-lapse mode allows you to choose if you don't want to take time-lapses, you want to take time-lapses, or you want to take it on the Z-axis change. So timed is basically timed. Every 5 seconds you get a frame taken, and then it sets that as a video in 30 frames per second. The time-lapse then also does 2 seconds at the end. You can also do a on Z change, so every time the Z moves down or up, or whatever way it has to go, it will take a picture, and that is what it will do. So that can make like a really quick, interesting looking time-lapse, I suppose. But the really cool thing about this, and one of the main reasons I wanted to get it, is because it can help streamline what I do when it comes to recording video for the time lapses. So finished time lapses come down here. You can see I've got 3 pages of stuff. I've had a lot of failed prints on this before, but you can see each and every one in this list that I've ever done. And I mean, I suppose you'd have to delete them all at some point. Maybe there's a mass deletion tool. Yeah, you can select all and then delete all, which is pretty cool, I think. There's also a way to select unfinished ones, I think, somewhere. I think I remember seeing that before, but I can't remember how you get to them now. Maybe there just isn't any at the moment, so I can't see it. Yeah, and that's pretty much the bit for time lapses, which is pretty cool. I think I did find out though that it does seem to have a watermark on it saying OctoPrint, which is okay, but I didn't know that that was there until one of my last videos. And also it's in the box format. And the final bit we have is called Slicer. So we have Slicer up here. This is actually an add-on, I must confess, but yeah, it has here left, right, front, back, or whatever, and nothing here at the moment. No information here because there's no files loaded onto the board. So if we go on here, we'll say, okay, what we want to do, we want to make, we want to print something really cool. So we'll get rid of that one. We want to make a Marvin keychain. You know, the standard old, good old Marvin. We want to slice him up. So we click slice, and there he is. He's in there. It feels more like a normal slicer program this way, which is kind of cool. And it's a little bit quirky as well, which is kind of good. So yeah, you can put him anywhere on the board. One little tip that I can give to you right now is I've got some very smooth feeling masking tape at the moment. It's not very rough on the back end of it. So what you can do is actually put some Pritt stick on the back of it, or just on the front of it, and that actually does help adhesion to the build platform, which I never expected to actually work, but it does. So I don't know why, but it's pretty useful. Yeah, so there you go. You got Slicer here. Cura Engine is the only one installed as default. There is one for Slicer as well, but I can't be bothered to get that all set up just yet, so I'm not going to do anything with it. After slicing, you want it to start printing. Then we go into basic. Now, for me at the moment, for me at the moment, I've had to tone things down to a terrible amount. So I'm doing shell thickness as 1, I'm doing print speed as 15, and top and bottom as 1 as well. I'm taking everything down to 15. I might even rebel this time. I'll go 16. I'm gonna go 16 for everything. So this gives me a guaranteed it's gonna stick and it's gonna print something. Retraction settings are fine as they are. You can set these in the file that you upload. You do have to upload a file for what's it called, Cura. Sorry, but if you've been using Cura before this, you should have the details all still there. I was using something else. What's it called? I was using Repetier Host. Repetier Host doesn't actually save the file for it in the same sense. For some reason, it doesn't save it as an INI file. It might save it as something else. I haven't got around to actually doing that, but I just kind of copied my settings over to an INI file that I did find, and then uploaded that to this. I can leave that somewhere if you guys want that. I can host it on my own website or whatever. So if you do want that file that I'm using, let me know and I will post it in the comment section below or something, and then you guys can come and find it and download the same file so that you have something that actually does work, which is quite useful, especially with our printer. If you have the same printer as me, or any printer really, I suppose should be able to use these settings. Yeah, so adhesion, you can actually set a brim or a raft on here. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to leave that off. Cooling fan, I don't have a cooling fan, so there's no point even putting it in. And then I can slice it, and slicing it will actually just set it up for the print. Now, I don't want to do that just yet. And in fact, I might do another video on the actual app for your phone, So I'll do a video on the app for your phone at another point, and then I'll show you also the print that came out this time with this guy. So yeah, that's something in the future. We have announcements here. This is just like announcements for actual OctoPrint. This is your user settings and your log out button and stuff, so whatever. I have added something onto here. It's not in there though. If you go into settings up here, oh wait, there is one more button, which is the system button that allows you to restart Octoboot or the actual Pi itself, or shut it down or whatever. Very useful. Sometimes it does mess up. Sometimes you need to actually do a proper plug pull on it, but most of the time it'll be okay. It's been on for a couple of days now for me, I think, and it's okay. It's actually inside the printer as well. I don't know if you saw that, but check out my previous video. I actually put it inside the printer. Not the neatest of things, but it's in there and it is working. So that's what I'm going to go with. That's a win in my books. So here we have the serial connection, and this actually allows you to define other stuff that you see previously on the other screen. Most of this I think I just left as default. There is advanced options as well, which I don't remember seeing or setting. Yeah, that's there. It's all there. I wouldn't bother copying mine because I think I've just left most of it as default anyway. So yeah, there we go. Printer profiles. Now the printer profile is actually quite important. I had to go online to find out some of the information about this, just to the 3D print website, and also to Cura as well. Not Cura, bloody hell. To Repetia host, in order to find the width, depth and height, or height, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so 140mm, 140, 140, and that should work perfectly fine. That is, I think I had that a little bit off previously, and it doesn't yield good results, which is annoying. You can define your heat bed here as well. Origin is lower left. I mean, you can have it in center if you want as well. It doesn't really matter. Axis. This defines the maximum speed or feed for the individual axis and whether their control should be inverted or not. There you go. Hot end and extruder, 0.4 and 1 extruder. Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty standard stuff for that anyway, really, to be honest, but I had to look up about the bed's size, so that's about it. Here's what I was talking about earlier when it came to the temperature graph. So you can actually have the temperature graph longer or shorter if you want. It doesn't really matter, but it would need a restart of OctoPrint to become active. And the temperature presets, you have the ABS and also the PLA preset, but I just realized you can actually set up other ones as well. So you can have different presets defined in different places as well. So yeah, there's that. I'm not sure if this is really going to make any difference to anything though, because I'm pretty sure also in the Cura engine file down here it sets the temperature. So these ones are just kind of temporary temperatures that you can put on for before the print, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah, so terminal filters, never touch that. GCode scripts. I had to look this up because my temperature was really struggling to get up to the correct temperature. Sorry, my extruder was struggling to get to the correct temperature. So if you type this code in, it allows you to get up to temperature quicker, and also it makes the temperature slightly more unstable, but it does work. So it is really good in that sense. It does actually really help, and if you put that in before print job starts, it will help your prints from now on, and you don't have to type it in every time, so that's quite nice. There's other ones down here that you can do as well. You can do things so that it like resets the X and Y axis or whatever. I think that's like G15, no, G115 or M115 or something. I can't remember. But if you look it up, it'll be there somewhere, and they're quite handy to have. In features, you've got the graph. It's all just features. This is all just features, just things if you want or don't want. It doesn't really matter too much. Aspect ratio, that's what I was looking for earlier. 16 by 9, not 19 by something. Yeah, 16 by 9. So you have the stream. This, if you go to the website name up in the address bar with this at the end, it will give you a stream. You can then use that in like I don't know, like VLC or Windows Movie Maker, not Maker, Windows Media Player, or whatever people use now for viewing streams, or even just through the browser, most likely as well now. And I have webcam horizontally flipped and also vertically flipped. You can also rotate it to the side if you really want, counterclockwise, just because, why not? And then also you have like the time-lapse bit rates and snapshot URLs and stuff like that. It's all kind of cool. Oh, that's how you turn the watermark off. There we go. Now I learned something today. Access control. This gives access to usernames and stuff like that. I'm admin and also active on the thing. You need to make sure you have the password set for this, because apparently if you don't, people can access your printer potentially if they have the correct access codes, and also set your extruder to extremely high temperatures, and also run base commands on your printer, which can just set your printer to get damaged, to potentially even cause a fire. So be careful with that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not going to show you the API because that gives you a long code which potentially might let you use my printer as well. But basically there's a one of them big code things on the screen, and also a long number string. You can type that into the app on your phone, and that's how you connect to it. I might show you that another time, or whatever, I don't know. Server, this allows you to, well, this is just what it runs on the actual thing. That doesn't really matter too much. This is the folder structures for the for the actual file structure. Sorry, for the actual Pi itself. Appearance, you can actually change it so it says like a different name up here, and then you can change it so the top is red, like that. So you can say like NAFE 042's OctoPrint, like that, and then it'll come up here when you save it, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Where was I? Appearance, yeah. You can change language packs and stuff like that. That's cool. It's good to have. Show temperatures in Fahrenheit as well as Celsius. No, because Celsius is king. I have no idea what how hot or cold a Fahrenheit is, so don't even try that on me. Plugin manager. This is actually really cool. This is actually a really cool feature. You can click get more on here, and then you can actually search for plugins, or you can just go through the list of plugins. And there's tons of them. There's loads and loads of plugins. All of them are free. All of them install, like one-click installs, which is incredible. And yeah, that's a really cool add-on to this thing, just to make it really user-friendly as well, actually. So it's quite a good thing. Software versions, Slicer and OctoPrint both do seem to get fairly regular updates, which is pretty good. Slicer being that thing that I had previously. Sorry. And then we have announcements, and these are just things that appear in that little bell thing up there. On to the last bit, Cura Engine 1504. This is the file for it. If you need that file, let me know. I'll upload it in the comment section below, or the description, sorry, and I'll put a link to it so that anyone else can use that. You can actually have multiple Cura files on here for multiple different things and different printers, and then the button down here, import profile, actually allows you to bring them into this program and use the settings that you were previously using, hopefully with no disruptions, to print perfectly good 3D objects. So that's pretty cool. So down here we have about OctoPrint. That just tells you like about it and stuff. It's a good read, and like it's good to make sure that you do help the publishers or the people who made this program or this this application, whatever you want to call it, this Pi project, because it's actually an incredible project. I will in fact be donating to it at some point. I haven't yet. I feel bad, but in time I will donate some money towards it, because it is actually a very cool, very useful software. If you wanted to, with this software, with this OctoPi or OctoPrint, you can use the Raspberry Pi 3 with its Wi-Fi and have the printer anywhere in the house, and and just connect it directly to the Pi, and then also have it run off the network. And you can also have it external to the network, so you can have other places connect to it. You can connect it from work, or on your work PC, or on your phone and things like that, which is quite cool and quite handy as well. So this has been a extremely long episode, actually, going over all the different things of OctoPrint. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't watched this far, still leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you think. Follow me on Twitter, that's @Nate542, and thanks for watching.